Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. So this past week has obviously been crazy for everyone. And you know, I've just been trying, like, we're all stuck at home. We're all trying to find things to keep us busy. And I've just been trying to look on the bright side of the situation as much as possible. And what that's meant for me is that I've been able to go through some makeup that I haven't touched in forever. I've been able to try looks that are a little crazy that I wouldn't normally do on a regular day, because normally I would film and then I'd have to like go run errands in the afternoon, and I don't want to be running out of the house looking a hot mess if my makeup fails or if I do some crazy eye look. So this has been actually kind of nice for me in getting to reacquaint myself with the makeup that I have. During this time while I've been going through makeup, I've discovered a lot of old favorites, and I've also revisited a lot of makeup that I don't really like, whether I've used it and remembered I don't like it, or I just kind of looked at it and was like, I remember there was a problem with that. So today I thought it would be fun, since I don't have to go anywhere, to kind of, I used to do videos like this a lot. They're kind of called last ditch effort videos for me. Just kind of a last ditch effort for a bunch of products that I will probably be getting rid of if they, you know, don't change my mind right here, right now. Now, I will just say this, not everything here is something that I dislike. Obviously, there's a lot of categories of makeup that I do have where I don't have anything that I don't like. For example, you know, mascaras. I don't really have a mascara that I absolutely hate. I just have some that I like less than others. Same thing for bronzers. There's not one that I hate per se, just some that work a little less for me. So I'm going to do my makeup now with the stuff I have here, and we're gonna start with probably what is the inspiration for this video, and that is primers. I have got 3 primers that, like, I'm afraid to use them right now. Like, I don't want to put these on my face. So I have the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. Now, I was hoping that this would be like a dupe for the Smashbox primer that I used to have, but honestly, I find that this just makes me feel really greasy and like, gross. I've also got the Illuminating Face Primer from e.l.f. Now, this is like the weirdest yellow illuminating tone. It's so weird. And then I have the NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer. So it's more like a blurring thing. It's not quite a pore filling primer, but I'm basically gonna be using this like all over my face, this a little more here, and probably this in a couple key spots. I don't wanna, I really don't want to. So I'll zoom you guys in a little bit and let's just get started. So I also thought that this would be blue. It's not. Like, look at this. It just, like, that does not look hydrating to me. It looks like dry and like, oh, no, no, this just feels like greasy, like really greasy. And I mean, I should be cool with that because I do have super, super dry skin. And so like a little extra like oil is probably not a bad thing, but this isn't the kind of hydration that I want. This for me, it feels like it's sitting like on top of the skin. It doesn't feel like it's soaking into the skin, like I'm being refreshed or hydrated. It just feels like it's like sitting on top. Oh, I hate the way that this feels. I'm gonna hope that it tacks down a little bit. So I'm gonna use a little bit of this Angel Veil kind of where some of my pores are. Even though it's not a pore filler, it's just a blurring primer. Those are the areas that I need blurred out. I used this in a like drugstore versus high-end dupes video, and I was like, I hated this stuff so much. Like, everyone says this is a dupe for the Hourglass like mineral veil primer, and it is so not, in my opinion. It's just weird. I don't like the way that it feels. Again, it just feels like super greasy, and I don't like that. So as you guys can see, I'm just sort of putting it, I'll put it on my chin too, just because I've got some serious problems there. You know, I put it on my nose, in between my eyebrows. I get a lot of like pores and stuff like that. All of these just feel greasy. Like, I don't like that. And here's another thing that I really don't like is that as I'm screwing this on, like, it's twisting. I don't even know if you guys are gonna be able to see this. It's twisting past like my happy place, which would be, it would just like, there'd be a stop on it and it would stop right here perfectly, and it's not doing that. Oh God. I'm just like dreading this whole video. I am planning on like after this going downstairs and doing some yoga and then showering immediately. So I'll be taking all of this off, and I might film like another video today with a look that I'm actually happy with. What is this? Why is it so yellow? I don't understand. Okay, I'm gonna just kind of like put this. This just feels greasy too. I don't understand. Oh my god, I can't handle this. I already am like regretting this decision to film this video before, right? And my fear right now is that my face feels so oily, and I'm done with that, and so greasy, that I'm worried that it's really gonna affect the foundation that I'm using, and I already struggle so much with this foundation. So let's just get into that. So this is gonna surprise a lot of people. The foundation that I'm not 100% sold on is the Guerlain L'Essential Natural Glow 16 Hour Wear. I have the shade 02N, so 2 neutral. I don't hate this product. I just have found that sometimes it's just a little difficult to work with. It doesn't blend very well. It gets very, very streaky on the face. So let's just see. So it is like kind of thicker. Like, I don't know if you guys can see that. It sort of stands up on itself. It's quite thick, which is not what I was expecting when I got this. I expected it to be very kind of like thin and natural looking. So I think my biggest problem with this particular foundation, I should be doing this into a mirror and not into the camera. So I'm just going to pull out my, this is not a product in this video. I do like this palette. I'm just using it because it's got a nice sized mirror. My biggest problem with this is that depending on how I put it on, so if I like am pulling with the brush, it leaves like these streak marks. Even doing this stippling, like I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see. It's just leaving a lot of texture, and I don't know if that's just because it's like a thicker foundation and I'm not used to that. I do find that sometimes happens with some of my full coverage foundations, but again, this is supposed to be like a natural looking one. So I find that it just takes a lot of work for me, which is not always ideal. Like I don't mind sometimes, but like, is the result so worth the effort that sometimes it does take to get this on? I don't know. I don't really think so, because like I'll have to go with a brush and then with, you know, a beauty blender just to, because I don't know. I shouldn't streak on my makeup the way I do. I'm sure I shouldn't. It's actually not that bad. I do find that it like really, for some reason, like amplifies any like minor issues. It brings out a lot of the texture in the skin. Now it is very glowy. It looks very, very nice. But like if you get real close, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. I find that it just, sorry, that's the brush in front of the camera, picks up a lot of texture in my skin, which I'm not a huge fan of. So I'm just going to pat this down with a beauty blender just to kind of even it all out and pull away any excess. So I don't know. We'll see. For concealers, I have got 3 that I'm not, so 1 that I definitely don't really like, and 2 that I'm not 100% sold on. So I have the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer. This is in the shade Light Peach. Now my problem with this is just that it is so light that like it just looks horrible. Like it is so light. So we might try and use a little bit of this under the eye. And then I also have this Pretty Vulgar Undercover concealer. This is in White Lilies. It's just not my favorite. And then lately, I don't know what it is because I really liked this when I got it, is the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Concealer. So we're going to use this for more spot concealing because it's a little closer to my skin tone, and use this for under the eye. Oh god, wish me luck. I really am not a fan of this, and I'm so sad. And this too, the other thing I found is normally I'll put my concealer on and then give it a minute to set and then blend it out. But this one you have to get at like right away. Like it dries so quickly. So I just put that there, and I'm just going to get straight into it. I guess it's good for like a brightening concealer. I use too much for sure on this eye. It's okay for like brightening under my eye, but I don't know. I'm just not, I don't like how quickly that I'm forced to work with it. I think I don't know. I don't know, because I know a lot of people really like that concealer. Like I feel like it's supposed to be a dupe for like Shape Tape or something like that, and I didn't have a problem. I'm just going to put a bit of this concealer on as well. This is that Pretty Vulgar one. I never had a problem with like Shape Tape concealer. There's something about that one though that I'm not a fan of. And I think the problem I have with this one is how like orange it pulls. So I'm going to use that for like spot concealing just around my chin, because my chin is having a hissy fit right now. Like my face has just been like, nope, not playing along with you. This past week I've been getting super bad breakouts. So those actually worked really nicely together. I don't know, this concealer is fine, like the Becca one. Is that the Becca one? Yeah, it's just a little peachy and it's not super full coverage. Now it is supposed to be weightless, so therein lies my problem. I don't know. For a setting powder, again, I don't have a problem with this powder per se. It's just the shade that's no good. I have the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Setting Powder. This is in the shade Light 15. It's just a bit too dark for me for what I use setting powder for, which is, you know, under my eyes and stuff like that. Like, it just makes my under eyes look a little too dark. I do prefer a translucent powder to this. But it's not bad. I mean, especially right now too, because I used that super, super light concealer. I think that this is working for me. It's kind of almost pre-bronzing me, because it is too dark. If I were to go back and purchase this again, I might get the fair shade. Ooh, that's a lot. The fair shade. I do like it. It does the trick. It's very good at setting your makeup. It's just the shade. Oopsies, I forgot to blend my concealer in under my nose. It's fine. I don't know. Again, I think it's the shade that I have a problem with, because I used to have a MAC loose setting powder, and the only problem I had with it was that it was too dark of a shade, and I was always looking for like more translucent powder. So Maybelline, if you put that out in translucent, or maybe you do have a translucent one and I just never saw it, that would be the way to go for me. For bronzer, again, this is not one that I hate per se. It's just one that is so, so dark and orange. This is the Your Wish Is My Command MAC times Aladdin bronzer. It's just so orangey that it takes so much work to blend out. Like, it's so dark. You have to go in with the lightest hand. And again, I was watching like old videos, not of mine, but I was watching like old swap videos that I used to do, and I would really like to do another one again, because I really like spoiling people with makeup. Obviously not during this crazy time we're in, because I can't go buy it, but you'd have to find me a friend on YouTube that wants to do that. Anyway, so my bronzing technique is like an all over the face bronzer, and this bronzer, actually that worked out pretty well, I will say. Can be really difficult. It does pull very, very orange, which is not always great, in my opinion. Next thing we're going to use, this is this Baked Highlighter and Blush from e.l.f. Now, when I got this, everyone said you had to scrape the top layer off, which just seems really stupid to me. Like, why would you make a product that didn't work unless you scraped half of it off? So I'm just going to get into some of this blush color here. So it is a baked blush, so there's going to be some shine to it, which is fine. Meh. I don't know. It's okay, but I have similar products that give you that glowy kind of shine look that work a lot better than this and are a lot more pigmented. I just find that this is a very natural flush. I don't mind it, but it certainly is not my favorite. For eyebrows, this is another product that's going to surprise everybody. I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz Crayon. This is in the shade Soft Brown. When I got this, it was like already completely broken, which really pissed me off, but whatever. So I'm just going to use this. I don't have a problem with these kind of like retractable brow pencils normally, but this one, I just find that the consistency of the pencil is so hard, and I think the girl matched me to the wrong color. This one pulls a little bit red, in my opinion. But yeah, the consistency of this is just so hard that, wow, that is super red, that it just like breaks off little bits in my brow. So it's like, even if I got like a perfect fill with it, I'm like picking little bits out, and I don't really like that. I don't like I am just not a fan of this. And I feel bad because I know everybody, not everybody, obviously I don't, so there's one person, but a lot of people like rave about this. Like this is their go-to product and I'm just not a fan of it. The one thing I do like is that it has a spoolie on the other end. So there's that. So I think that that pulls a little too red for me, but whatever. Next for highlight, I've got 3 highlights that I'm debating between. So I have the Maybelline Master Chrome highlight. This is in Molten Rose Gold. Now again, a lot of people like these. They're just a little too shimmery for my liking, like too glittery. And then I also have 2 of the Physicians Formula Butter highlighters. I have them in Pink, Rose, and Champagne. The champagne one I just think is too dark, so we're going to use some of the Master Chrome kind of on our cheeks. We're going to use some of the other ones on our nose, and we'll just sort of see how it goes. So this is so powdery. Like the kick up of this is just insane. I mean, it's nice. It's just, I don't know. Again, it's not the most intense glow highlighter that I've ever had. It's just kind of like, okay. There's nothing extremely special about this, in my opinion. Now I'm going to take that Physicians Formula one. Now these are gorgeous. They're so intense that I never know how to use. Like that's so, again, it's not really translating onto camera, but like in person, it's so gold and I'm not really a fan of that, so I don't know. I'll kind of do like a revisit at the end of this video and like talk about like what changed my mind, what I was pleasantly surprised by, what I wasn't surprised by. For eyeshadow primer, I'm going to use this Milani eyeshadow primer in 01 Nude. I'm not a big fan of like these kind of primers that come in like the squeeze tubes. I don't know. I find that they are so wet that they blend out into like nothing and I don't even know if I'm really priming my eyes. Like that's one of the things I like about my paint pot is because it's a thicker cream product, you can actually like see where it lays down and know that it's stuck down, whereas this I'm kind of like just blending it away, I feel like. So for eyeshadow, I have 3 palettes. I have the e.l.f. Rose Gold eyeshadow palette. I used this in that same like drugstore versus high-end tutorial and I just was really underwhelmed by this. It's really hard to open. Very, very similar to the Naked 3 palette. I also have got this Storybook Cosmetics Fairy Tale palette. This is the Red Riding Hood. The colors are nice in this. It's more the packaging that annoys the crap out of me. And I also have my Essence Earth palette. Now, I don't dislike this palette. I actually really like it. My only problem with it is that it's all shimmer shades, so it's very difficult to get like a full look out of just this one palette. So I'm going to kind of mix and match this with those to see if I really like the color payoff in this palette. So I think we're gonna start more with the Storybook Cosmetics palette. So I'm gonna go into this palette with the shade Woods. It's this like peachy, not peachy, this is the peach one. It's kind of like this one up at the top. I'm going to start there. Okay. See, it picks up a ton on the, wow, I just like literally tapped that brush a couple times and everything like fell off of it. I don't know, just for the amount that these are pigmented, or should I say the lack of pigmentation in these, just does not seem worth it. It's a super cute idea. I'm an avid reader. I love to read books. I love fairy tales. It's just, I don't know, like I said, it's a really cute idea, just the execution was not ideal. Meh, it's fine, I don't know. Let's use one color out of the e.l.f. palette. I'm going to go into this color here. I might get a little bit of pink off of my brush because this isn't the same brush that I used in that Galaxy look. That color's nice. That's nice. It's better than I remember it being. Okay, that one's okay. I mean, It's not the most pigmented shadow I've ever used in my life, but it's okay. I'm gonna go into the color Basket out of that palette. That first color was Woods. I just realized right now that they do have names on them. I went really high with that by accident. I'm also gonna take some of this Woods color and blend it underneath. Just like that. I don't know, this is okay, I suppose. I'm so like about the whole thing. Like, I feel like I've been that way since the start of this video. And the makeup is actually turning out half decently okay. It's just, I think I know in my heart that I like don't like it. So I'm hating on it. So out of the Essence palette, I'm just going to go into this kind of like burnt reddish kind of color. I'm just going to like add that up in here. Yeah, I do really like these. And for shimmers, like they go on over the whole, like into the crease and stuff really, really well. Like a lot of shimmers, I find that I can only really get away with if I'm using my finger and kind of for like a lid color and all over the lid color. But these are actually really nice up in the crease. Just blend that out a bit. For an all over the lid color, let's use a shade out of the, we're going to use the shade Peril. It's like this kind of reddish kind of color. That's super pigmented. Okay. It's like a pinky red. Okay, and then in the inner corner, I'm going to use the color Red, which is more of like an orange. So I'm going to use that in the inner corner and then blend that up into the other red. Just like that. I mean, the look itself is horrible, if I say so myself. Reds are not normally my thing. I'm not a big fan. But like I said, I don't have anywhere to go today, just down to the basement to do some yoga, so whatever, I can look a little crazy. This next product is not a least favorite. I have no not favorite eyeliners. Like, I like all of the eyeliners that I have. I just grabbed one that I haven't used in a while. This is my STILA Stay All Day waterproof liner. I just haven't used it in a while, which is why I want to use it. I kind of want to reignite my love with this product. Feels kind of dry, to be completely honest. I'm wondering if it's like dried out. Alright, well that's okay, I guess. Whatever. I think that this might be dried out. Again, it's not that it's not my favorite or one of my favorites. I think I just haven't used it in a while and it's getting a little dry. For mascaras, again, I don't really have any that I don't love. I just have some that are less loved than others. So I've got a Burberry mascara. It just kind of comes on a rubbery wand that sort of looks like that. Doesn't sort of look like that. It does look like that. You know what? I don't like this mascara. It's not really... It's what it's doing that's annoying me is it's because it's so rubbery, it's clinging to my eyelashes and like pulling them, and it's kind of irritating. And then I also have this Petite and Pretty fully feathered one. Now my biggest problem with this is that I find it clumps up really bad. Yeah, that is still true. It's just a super goopy formula, like a very, very goopy formula. And it's just a little too wet for me. For lipsticks, now people are gonna kill me for this. I've got a couple I'm trying to decide between, and I will give you my reasons why. So I have two of the Huda Beauty matte lipsticks. I have them in the shade Girls Trip and Wedding Day. My issue with these is as follows. They are so drying. Like, they are so matte. They remind me a lot of the MAC Retro Matte formula, which I hate. It's too matte for me. So that is one. And the other one that I have, and this is not a formula problem, this is a color problem, is this Huda Beauty Liquid Matte Lipstick, and this is in the shade Bombshell. I just don't know if this shade really works for me. So I'm more inclined to try this because I'm trying to figure out what shades work and what don't. So I'm going to go with this one because I already know how I feel about those. But if I find that this one doesn't work, maybe we'll go over those in a minute. It's a very, very like peachy kind of color. Okay, so the color is fine. Now I remember what I don't like about this. It's a very comfortable formula, but it's very, it's not very opaque. Like when you put it on, you're getting a lot of streaking. It definitely would take more than one coat, which is not always ideal. Particularly, like I have a lot of liquid lipsticks that are like a one coat and done sort of thing. So I don't know why I would like waste my time on one that took more than one. So I think that is what my problem was with this lipstick. It wasn't the color after all. It was just that I didn't like the way that it applied. So the last thing that we're going to do is set. Now again, this is not a setting spray that I don't like. It's just one that I'm actually trying to use up. This is my Marc Jacobs Recover Perfecting Coconut Setting Mist. So I'm just going to use that. So the one thing that I'm not a big fan of with this is the scent kind of annoys me. Like I like coconut scented stuff, but this is almost like, oh god, it tastes horrible, like rotting coconut. But I love the mister on this. Like it's just like the finest spray that really, really like gets a wide area. I really, really like that. So this is the look that we have got today. So final thoughts. Have I changed my mind about any products? Yes. So first things first, the primers, still a no-go for me. Those are all going to end up getting decluttered, whether I do it now or I do it later. We shall see. I haven't decided yet if I want to do like a isolation declutter just because, or if I'm gonna like, I don't want to hold out because I don't want these to go bad before somebody else can get a hold of them, but we'll see. But I don't like any of those. I don't know where that just cut off. So the foundation, I do like this. It is a little bit difficult to work with because it's a thicker formula, but it does give the skin a really, really lovely, like pretty glow, very natural glow, very awake and live kind of looking. I do like this. So I'll probably hang on to that. Concealers. One of them is missing. Here it is. So the e.l.f. concealer, I don't mind it. I think it worked really, really well in conjunction with that Pretty Vulgar concealer. I think together I got the kind of color I was looking for. This did do a lot of brightening under my eyes. I can see it. It did conceal. It's nice. It's just not my favorite. The Becca concealer, again, it's not super full coverage. It didn't like completely mask all of what's going on my chin. It just kind of did. So I think for me, I'm just realizing that as much as I like lightweight foundations, I do want a little bit more of a heavier coverage concealer. So again, these are probably products that I'll continue to use. They're all different shades. That's so funny, that I'll probably use up and then just not repurchase. The setting powder, I actually do really like this, even if it's in this shade. It kind of just worked to even out my skin tone, especially where I had that really light concealer underneath my eyes. It brought a lot of color back into that area. I do really like this. I like the formula of it. I like that it's like kind of fine. I would maybe try it in the fair shade as well, or if there's a shade below that, I would maybe give that a shot, but I do really, really like this. The bronzer, again, I was pleasantly surprised. I was able to blend it out a lot better than I can remember being able to. It didn't end up turning super orange on my face. It wasn't too much, so that was nice. The e.l.f. blush, I mean, it's pretty. Like, I can see where it's sitting and how it looks really, really nice. But again, I've got products that do a similar thing without so much of the hassle. So, I don't know. The bronzer, or the highlights. I think these ones I'm going to take a pass on. I love the butter bronzer. Just not a big fan of the butter highlighters. I just think for this formula, it's just too thick of a formula to give you a really nice light highlighter. If you like a bit more of an intense highlighter, these might be the way to go. But I was pleasantly surprised by the Master Chrome. It's not as glittery as I recall it being. I thought it was a lot more glittery than this. I really like that. So I don't know. Take it or leave it. Eyeshadow primer, again, I'm just a bigger fan of my paint pot, and I'm finding that about all of my shadow primers, all of my lid primers, is that they're probably all going to end up going and just leaving room for my paint pots, because those are the ones that I constantly am coming back to, constantly reaching for. These ones are just sort of like in my drawer. Eyeshadows. So I only used one shadow today from this e.l.f. Palette, but to be honest, I do prefer my Naked palette over this, so this will probably still end up going. The Essence palette I do really like. I like the colors. I like that even though they are all shimmery, they do blend into like lids and stuff really nicely, into the crease really nicely, so that one I'll be hanging on to. The Storybook Cosmetics, again, they are really nice formula of shadows. They blend out really nice. The shimmers are super pigmented. It's the packaging that I can't handle. There's so much packaging for so little product. And these colors are, I can only get so far with them. There's only 6 colors in here, and sometimes that's okay. But like red would not be, like if I were looking for a 6-pan palette, a red toned one would not be the one I'd be looking for. Mascaras, again, not a big fan of that pretty Petite and Pretty one. It's just too clumpy, and the Burberry one, like I said, sticks too much. This was fine. I don't know, maybe I got a defective one where it broke, but I'm not a big fan of the formula or the color. And for the lipstick, it's comfortable. It's not dried down yet completely, which is kind of weird. Like, it still feels very sticky, and it's already showing like a lot of the texture in my lips, a lot of the cracks in my lips, which I'm not a big fan of. So as much as I love like Huda Beauty shadows and that kind of thing, I think the lipsticks are probably just not for me. So that is everything for this video. How do you guys think this look turned out? I think it turned out okay. I think I made with what I had, made do with what I had. And it was fun, and like I said, it was a chance for me to really decide how I feel about some products that are in my collection and whether or not they should stay in my collection. So if you like this kind of video, then give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, comment down below your experience with any of these products. Do you hate them? Do you love them? Are there other products that maybe I was using wrong, or, you know, do you have the same opinions as me? Let me know. I love hearing from you guys, and I will catch you guys next time.